NSDC's eSkill India has joined hands with American India Foundation for enhancing employability skills and providing career guidance to college students through its course Essential Employability Skills for Indian Youth. You can follow 4 simple steps to enroll in this course. Step 1. Log in or register yourself on eSkill India portal. To enroll in the course, click on the above banner on eSkill India portal. The banner will appear on the eSkill India main page. In case banner is in motion or not visible, you can click on the corporate training button available to reach the NSDC AIF training program. If you have registered yourself before, you can log in and continue. But if you are a new user, click on sign up, fill all the details. You will need to verify your phone number or email ID. Once verified, click on I agree to terms and conditions. You have now completed the registration process. Now you can log in and enroll in the course. Step 2. Enter coupon code. After you have logged in, enter the coupon code and click submit. Step 3. Select course and language. The course is available in 2 languages. To do the course in English, click here. Kindly remember, you will not be able to change the language of the course after enrollment. Select the language of the course carefully. Click on Enroll. Click on OK. Step 4. Go through all the modules and clear the final exam to earn any certificate. After completing all the lessons in each module, you will have to give final assessment. Completing the final assessment is mandatory to complete the course and earn certificate. To give final exams, click on Final Exam. Each candidate will be given 3 attempts to clear the exam or improve the final score. The best score out of the 3 would be displayed on e-certificate. Now click on Quizzes. Click on Take Quiz and complete the quiz.
Hello. Aparna, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's start with the career prospects and future in banking and finance sector. So first, before we move on to exactly what it has, so first we look into what is the scope of banking and finance and what are the industry trends. So whenever we take up any field, we should also keep a watch on exactly what's its scope, how vast the area is, and what are its industry trends, and what will be down the line in the coming 5 to 10 years. So first, looking onto the scope, banking and finance it's like a backbone of every economy. So like our entire financial system, our flow of money, the entire economy is based on the banking sector. So this is its importance, and it is ever growing and ever in demand. And also, banking sector is not just about the loans and the deposits and whatever we see the retail banking. Banking is much more than that. So we will dive in detail exactly which departments you can work in and what type of skills you require for each of them. There are several career options and a lot of skill-based options as well. And because of growing scope in the market and so on, the opportunities are increasing, also subject to the foreign investment. So now, before we get into it, let's look at what the industry trends are. So industry trends is very important because especially now when we are in degree college, it is advisable that you know what the industry trends are in the sector which you are getting into, and keep yourself updated, have the certifications. So currently these are the 5 which I have listed here on the slide. So let's look at each one of them. So first is rise in e-commerce platforms. So you can see there are a lot of online trade, Amazon, Flipkart, Purple, Myntra, and so on. Now these are established, but you can see that new new websites are being coming, new e-commerce platform are being coming. So when you set up a new business, you know the lot of payment, online transaction increase, and that is where the banking sector comes into picture. It plays major role via UPI setup or NPCI and so on. So a lot of demand. Then surging demand for artificial intelligence. So you might have heard that recently the automation has increased in all the sectors, like not just in banking but in other sectors as well. So what shall we do is, having a qualification in finance, we should also simultaneously take certifications in artificial intelligence and blockchain. I know there are so many things. So in the banking sector, when you step into, ensure that along with your certification of banking and finance, along with your professional qualification, you are also updated with how the automation process goes on. Then increase in investment by foreign entities. So I hope that you all have, recently updated with the budget, and you can see if you, read it out that the foreign investment percentile has been increased. So you can expect more number of businesses coming up, MNC setting up their, offices here. And the more increase in business, the more flow into the economy, the rise in the banking sector, the rise in demand, the rise in labor force, and so on. The professionals from all sectors keen on investing in stock markets and expanding business operations and startups, leading to a new rise in job opportunities. So, as the load increases, as the automation also increases, we need more finance professionals in the banking sector, as well as we need them to be updated with the automation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and so on. So, now let's look into the next slides exactly what departments are there in the banking sector. Like, banking is not just about the branch, we will also talk about how the back office works, what departments are there, and how you can find your area of interest and get into. So before we dive into it, we should also look at what skills are required when you get into banking and finance area. The ones which I've listed on the left side are the ones which you should have. It is a must have for every commerce professional. And the ones which I've listed on the right side are basis the latest industry trends. So first, let's look at what basic skills you require. The first two are analytical skills and numeracy skills. So if you're into banking sector, any department, credit management, risk management, loan, then in an analysis and so on, audit, accounting, whatever that may be, analytical skills and numeracy skills are a must. So if you want to survive in this sector, enter in this sector, these two are a must. Now, the third one is communication and interpersonal skills. So what happens is that we see the many students have same qualification. They have cracked the exam, the entrance exam of banking and so on with the same marks, but only few are able to crack the group discussion and everything and go ahead in the banking sector. This is where communication and interpersonal skills play a major role, and it is a must have that even if you are in a back office, even if you have your work which has no interaction with anyone, no interaction with customer, still communication and interpersonal skills are a must. It makes you outperform and outstand from other candidates. Now the next three are such that we are always not going to be on an analyst role or an officer or a clerk. We have to you know make progress in our career. We have to become vice presidents, presidents, and also try to be at the CXO level. So these three skills which are mentioned at the end, that is problem solving skills, leadership skills, decision making skills, these three will take you ahead. The first three will help you enter and survive. The next three will help you also rise above, climb the corporate ladder, what we say. So all these six skills are a must if you want to have a successful career in the banking and finance sector. But it is not just the only thing which is required. Like before a few years, you can say that if you have these six skills, it is done. Like you're completely a successful person. But now, because of, as I mentioned in the previous slide, that there are so many industry trends which are basis automation and artificial intelligence and so on. So on the right side, I've mentioned those skill set which you can add. And now you are in a degree college. So what you can do is while you're taking up another course, maybe a professional one or so on, or simply doing a bachelor's degree, ensure that there are so many websites where you can do certifications or courses. So you can ensure that you are doing courses basis these data analytics, automation skills, content writing, testing and data collection, business intelligence mapping. Then you can even have certification on blockchain, cyber security. So ensure that you also hold certain certifications, because if you go on any MNC's website, if you see their job description of any, or any banks which are there, or investment banks which are there, you will see that it is not just finance knowledge which is required. You should also know how to use several softwares or basics of code, but you should know it. And in banking sector, it is so required. So now let's look at list of courses which are there. The ones you can do, the master's degree or the postgraduate programs which you can do after your bachelor's degree, and also these 9 professional qualifications which you can do. But there are many other. I have just listed 9 here on the slide. About the master's degree, my suggestion is that you can go for a full-time course. Distance learning and part-time generally doesn't have much demand in the market, let's be honest. So you can do MCOM, you can do MBA in finance for getting into the banking sector, or MBA in business management sector specifically. Then also banks have this compliance department as well. So there is a mandatory requirement for banks that you should have a compliance department with you. So if you have done your LLM and also or LLB and company secretary, any combination which you would like to take up, then you can get into compliance department of banks and even investment banks as well. Then postgraduate programs. So there are postgraduate programs like banking and finance, then quantitative finance and so on. So that will also help you get into the banking sector. So you can consider doing any of these four, but ensure that you do it a full-time one. Then moving on to the professional courses. So now certified public accountant, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA UK. So these are all, and CMA USA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So the first, second, eighth, and ninth, these are such that if you wish to go abroad, work into a foreign bank and so on, like Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, and so on, then you can consider having these qualifications, because every country has their own accounting principles or their own gap, their own tax regulations. So these particular exams follow it according to their own country. And like, for example, if you do CMA USA, there's a higher chance that you might get into Bank of America, because Bank of America in many of its accounting follows US GAAP and Internal Revenue Services guidelines. So CMA USA can be helpful for you. But if you want to get into Deutsche Bank and so on, which are European banks, you can consider taking ACCA or CIMA and so on. So plan your career path in banking accordingly. Now moving on to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is that is Chartered Financial Analyst. So CFA is more into investment banking. So we'll talk about CFA and financial risk management later on in the next slides. I will explain it to you and according to the departments. Because as I said, that every bank has its own, different departments which are there in the back office. Then you can do chartered accountancy. So there are several topics covered in the CA curriculum. So it will help you a lot if you're getting into the banking sector. Then same with company secretary and CMA India. Now talking about the government exams like IBPS, then RBI exams, and SBI has its own exam. So you can get into government banks by appearing for those exams. But if you are already a chartered accountant, company secretary, or CMA India, I think there is some waiver for the entrance. Like you can directly apply for the post of deputy manager and so on. But I suggest that you go on their website and read their notification exactly what recent developments are there. So you can chart your, area of interest and whatever your career is according to this. So now let's take a detailed look of what departments are there and how you can select which professional degree you want to pursue in order to get into the banking sector. Because many of them, what they do is that they take some generic qualification and then they are confused exactly in which department we have to go and what we have to do. So now let's look into detail. The first is corporate and retail banking. So corporate banking is basically when you deal with MNCs, with the corporates, domestic companies, and so on. So their operations are different compared to a retail individual banking. And you can see that corporate banking facilities and retail banking facilities both are provided in branch, as well as some of the corporate facilities are provided in the back office, in the head office of the banks itself. So that is also a great area. Like major of our hiring which is done, it is done in the corporate and retail banking sector area. Sorry. Then marketing and sales. So every bank has its own set of products which they sell. Banks even sell insurance products and so on. So for that, they have an entire marketing and sales team. Also, when banks have to, advertise their new, product or something like that, then marketing team comes into picture. Or, any event has to be carried on. Like you can see outside, banks also carry on event sponsorship and everything, so on, marketing their product, reaching out to customers, and even the mails which you receive from the bank, all its formation, framing, everything is taken care of by the marketing and sales department. Then investment banking. So now I'll also throw a light on what is Chartered Financial Analyst, CFA qualification. So if you're aware with what's happening in the stock market, then recently a lot of IPOs are getting launched compared to how the number it used to happen previously 4 or 5 years ago. So IPO is basically initial public offering, the first time the shares get listed in the stock market. So when this has to be done, it is a very very big procedure, and investment banks play a major role into it, as in the price fixing of the shares, the number of shares, it plays a key role, underwriting and so on. So that time, so investment banking is a career which has a lot of demand, and chartered financial analyst, CFA, majorly has a focus on investment banking. Like CFAs can work in other departments also in banks or even in NBFCs as well. It has a high demand in India, but investment banking is its core. So if you wish to go into investment banks like JP Morgan or Deutsche Bank and so on, you can consider going for CFA qualification. Then stock market dealers. So banks have the securities department as well. Securities is also their subhead for some banks. So there are stock market dealing department is also there. So if you're interested in stock markets and you also want to get into banking, then you can get a job at a head office of a bank where they have these departments. Then accounting and audit services. So finance and accounts department is what we call them. If you go in any head office of a bank, then you will see that there's a finance and accounts department which is set up, which looks into the entire accounting which you do. Like you all are commerce students, so you might be aware exactly what the accounting procedure is entirely, from start of the transaction till the financials and their interpretation. So that is what is done. And you can definitely go into it, but having a professional qualification is preferred. Then audit services. So if you're keen of, doing audits, and you can be a chartered accountant, and also for accounting, then financial management, taxation, and so on. So audit is a must for a bank as per the regulations. So audit is carried out on interim as well as an annual basis. Statutory audit, internal audit, concurrent audit, and so on. Banks even have their own department of audit set up internally. So audit also has a lot of scope. Now the most trending department currently at this point is credit management. So it's not just about giving loan, giving credit to someone. When we offer credit to any corporate or any individual or any entity, basically, we have to analyze their financial standing, their income, then their project for which they are taking, or for if it's a personal loan and so on. We have to conduct an entire credit analysis. We have to, and even if it is a big entity, we have to even rate them. So not as a part of not as a proper credit rating agency, but even banks have their own system inside where they have their own internal ratings before granting credit to someone. So credit management is an entire process, and loans are always going to be taken. That is something which is never going to stop. There is no end for this department. And because, as I said, that there are new startups, new businesses emerging. So for setting up, businesses, startups, and so on, carrying out projects, joint venture, loans are required. So credit management is a ever rising career. Then international business, or if you are deciding just to do a business, like international or even on a domestic level for providing goods and services, you should have lot of knowledge of the banking, how the sector works, in fact international banking norms as well, the regulations, how the settlement is done, and everything. So if you are getting into a business, still having knowledge of the entire banking and finance sector, its products, what will be helpful for you, how the transaction is done, how many days are required, what formalities you have to complete, how much deposit you have with the bank, and the other services like the bills which are there and so on. So a lot of things, banking sector actually plays a role when you set up your businesses. Then agency and consultancy also you can have. So you can, as a freelancer, provide services to the banking sector instead of working under them. Then same goes with financial consulting if we narrow down the scope. Then now risk management. So as I told you that I'll brief you all about FRM. So every bank has its risk management department. Now, when I talk about risk management, so there are a lot of risks which a bank faces, which a finance company faces, even NBFCs and so on. So it's market risk, operational risk, liquidity risk, and so on. Operational risk, you can say enterprise risk management is an area of it. So a lot of things. So companies have set up their risk management department where they have, calculate risk, then manage the liquidity, monitoring, and so on, identify loopholes, analyze the entire internal control system. A lot of work. So risk management department is a very highly, I can say a respected one in the banking sector. So if you want to get into risk management department at this point in this severe rat race competition world, I would say that you definitely pursue financial risk management qualification if you want to make your career in risk management. And the best part is this has a lot of growth in a company, like till the CXO level, that is whom we call the chief risk officer. So you have a chance of becoming that too. So this is a career where there's a there's a ladder which you can climb. So whenever you choose to get into a department, don't just get into it because your friends went, or you're just getting that job. Take it by looking at the banks, the companies growth prospect, and also whether this particular career, this particular department has a growth till the end. Because as I said, we all are not just going to stay at the junior level. We have to climb, we have to you grow and succeed. So choose a department where you feel that there is a lot of growth and you are also interested in it. So don't just take up because some opportunity might come to you. Like if you have an option, then definitely go for the one where you have growth. Then research and analysis. So banks have their own research and analysis area set up. This might be mixed up with other areas, with other departments, or it might be a separate one as well, depending on what are the regulatory requirements or what the board of directors decide to. And tax advisory, well, taxation is something which I would say that it is generally merged with the finance and accounts department. So they all work together in a bank. But if taxation has a wonderful scope, so in the banks as well. So if you are interested into it, also I would suggest that you can do chartered accountancy for it, because if you see the CA curriculum, taxation is wonderfully covered into it, very much in detail. So, and it will help you in all areas. Like even if you're planning to do a business, chartered accountancy, having that qualification will help you a lot. So this is something you can consider. Then fintech and startup. So this is a scope. This is an industry trend which is I've mentioned here: e-commerce, fintech, and startups. So as I said that new businesses are being set up, more business, more flow of money in the economy, higher demand, more branches being set up, more demand for us. Then government. As I said, if you want to get into government banks, then you need to appear for the exams, IBPS and SBI exam, RBI exams, and so on. And if you have the professional three qualifications, CA, CS, CMA, India, then you have certain papers. And also communication skills are very much required here, because it's not just you have to appear for the entrance exam, but you also have to go through interview round, group discussion, and so on, to finally get your seat into the branch or the head office, wherever they decide to place you. Then wealth management. So banks have their own wealth managers. They appoint certain financial advisors for you for explaining the products and so on. Then joint ventures. So now we can see that there are a lot of bridges and metros and monos which are being constructed, coastal projects, and so on. So when any joint venture is set up, like joint venture is basically two big companies come together for completing a particular project. So their contract is only for the particular project, and these projects go on for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So banks also, not just one bank, but 3, 4 banks also play a major role into it. The banks appoint certain people for this particular contract to keep a track of exactly what is going on and everything. So they need high banking professionals when any joint venture is set up, or when a bank plays a key role in the joint venture which is there. Then freelancing. So banks have learning and development department as well. Bankings have HR as well. HR I haven't covered here, but like every bank, like every company has an HR department, and also learning and development. So if you're interested in training, providing training to the employees and so on for any particular reason, it might be technical or it might be generic and so on, then you can be a freelancer, or you can get into learning and development department of banks. So now what I want you all to do is that find your area of interest, see what skill sets you have or what you are keen to pursue. Write it down, write down your area of interest, write down your skill sets or whatever you think you can pursue in this coming 3 years, and find an overlap between both of them. So this overlap which is there between your interest and skill set, that is your core competency, and pursue your career in the particular core competency which is there. So if you want to get into risk management, do your BCom, then appear for FRM examinations and get into risk management department of banks. Then if you are interested in, corporate and retail banking, then you can do, chartered accountancy along with your BCom or, any bachelor's degree which you are pursuing right now. And then you can get into banking departments. Also, you can get into treasury also. That is also a wonderful area in banking. So I myself have conducted audits of bank's treasury department. So that is also an ever rising career, and it is very, very important. So one of the top important functions of banks. And in treasury departments, what I have seen is generally chartered accountants, CMAs, basically professionals are considered, and even MBS. So you can think over it if you want to get into treasury. But wonderful area, a lot of interesting things you will learn each day. So find your area of interest and plan it accordingly. Don't just pursue something or get into something because everyone is doing the same thing or because your friends are doing this. Because what happens is that we do something which our friends are doing, and after working in that area for 2 3 years we get tired and stressed out, and then we give up on it. So ensure that this doesn't happen with you, because generally college students tend to do that. So ensure that you choose what you want to, even if you're pursuing something which none of them are pursuing, that is also fine. Just ensure that you have complete knowledge of what you're doing, think from a long term perspective, and then select your path. And the departments in banking sector are several, so it is not just what I've mentioned, these 20. There are a lot of things. So multiple qualification and skills are preferred. So in short, if I compile everything, summarize everything, what you can do is start getting a few certification in blockchain, automation, so on, and simultaneously pursue any of these professional qualifications. Or you can plan, appear for CAT and do your MBA in finance and get into the banking sector, or prepare for government examinations and crack the exam, and also have more, read newspapers, start reading newspapers, have knowledge of what is happening currently in the industry. That is very, very important. Like if you get into any banking interview, you will realize that how important it is to stay updated with what's happening currently in the economy, not just in the domestic level but also in the international level. And one more suggestion for all of you, that if you all any of you doesn't have a LinkedIn account, then please definitely register and start your LinkedIn account. Even if you're a student, that's totally fine. But connect with professionals, learn from them. Then what you can do is that you can connect with some banking professionals. You can learn how they succeeded into it, and this will help you in development of your personality development as well. Have your LinkedIn account, ensure that you do that. Even if you're a student, you can mention that you're a student. And as soon as you get your certification, start updating it in your LinkedIn account, start putting posts, professional posts. Then you can comment something professional on any article which someone has written and so on. So have your reach, start reaching out to people. So by the time you're graduated or you have completed your masters or your professional qualification, you will have a great pool of industry professionals with you whom you can reach out for getting into the banking sector. So now I'll give you all a brief about one of the most successful persons in the banking sector, that is Mr. Aditya Puri. So let's see how his journey was. So Mr. Aditya Puri is a chartered accountant by profession, and he has started his career as a management trainee with Mahindra Limited in Mumbai. And later on, he switched to Citibank and worked with them for 21 years. So this is also a lesson for many of them, because I've seen that recently students or the young professionals, they try to hop job a lot. Like no one is stabilized in one place. Like after 1 year, people change job. Like first 2 3 times it is okay because we find our area of interest. Sometimes what happens is that we pursue a qualification in a certain department and we join, but after that we feel that no, this is not where I'm meant to be, this is not where I'm interested, so you change, and that's totally fine. Not just once, it's okay if you change twice or thrice, but ensure that it doesn't go above three. Ensure that you stick to one place, work there as long as you can, because employers also prefer those employees who stick to one place. So no one likes job hoppers, no one likes to hire job hoppers, and also it will not take you much ahead in life. It will not help you, climb the ladder so quickly. And here on the screen we can see that what happens when you stick to one job, what happens. So wonderful thing here. So while working with Citibank, due to his excellence in work, he got an opportunity to grow and work in 19 countries. So that is something really wonderful. We have not seen, like, everyone gets this chance, but he did. So this is because of his excellence, smart and hard work. And also, what makes you stand out from other professionals is when you are creative in your work. So rather than just doing it monotonously, rather than just following the standard operating procedure, if you bring to light certain new ideas and creativity to your senior, then you have a higher chance of getting promoted. So show your talent, show your creativity, be enthusiastic in what you're doing. And this can only happen if you work in something you're passionate about or you're interested in. So this is how important, having your interest level in a certain department is. Then in 1992, he became the CEO of Citibank in Malaysia. And while working in Malaysia, Deepak Parekh, who was running HDFC's housing bank company, contacted him and invited him to set up bank in India. And he returned in India as a managing director of the HDFC Bank in 1994. And he served as the MD of HDFC Bank till October 2020. So you can see that for becoming a CEO, he took 21 years, but he enjoyed the position in a senior management for 26 years. So these are the fruits of sticking to one job. These are the fruits of smart and hard work coupled. This is the fruit of what happens when you work for what you're passionate about. And the bank was inaugurated by then Finance Minister of India, Mr. Manmohan Singh. So this is such an honorable thing, right? So this is what happens when you are consistent in your work. So it is not just that you join a bank and in the first 2-3 months you show your high level of interest and your creativity, and then it dips down. Well, that also doesn't work. Your employer will notice it very easily, and it will hamper your promotion as well. So be consistent, choose what you like, and go for it. So thank you everyone. And you can, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. Or if I'm not able to, because of the time shortage, if I'm not able to answer, then you can mail me on the suitmentorship@gmail.com, or you can visit my website www.thesuitmentorship.com. So I mentor students and established industry professionals as well. So thank you so much, and please go ahead with your questions.
Thank you, madam. Hello.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
From on behalf of Bharat College, I take this opportunity to extend this official vote of thanks. I am thankful to CMA Ms. Anaga Prabhu for taking this workshop on career guidance, and especially including this story of Aditya Puri for motivating the students, for nicely furnishing the qualifications and what are the jobs prospectus available. I'm thankful to you, madam. I'm also thankful to Ms. Shilpa Borkar, placement in charge, and Dr. Shivam Gajre, director of Garwal Institute. I'm also thankful to all the personnel associated in arrangement of this program. I'm thankful to my colleagues and all the participants for attending this program. And I could see in the participant list all the regular and genuine students who got the right guidance from you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box.
Students, if you have any questions, you can ask, please. I can see most of the regular students. Please put on the questions.
Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, no, the screen is visible. So talking about the project Future Ready, sharing the vision to develop future workforce in India, Dell Technologies in partnership with AIF, NSDC and University of Mumbai has launched Project Future Ready to equip the workforce with career skills. The project aims to provide skills development for students through career mentoring, leveraging online skilling platforms, and providing market-aligned skills training for employability and inculcating entrepreneurial mindset. So we'll start with the presentation. Does anyone know what's the difference between a job and a career? Can anyone tell me? Like, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat below if you want.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Job means for a present time And career means for a whole future.
Yeah, you're correct. So thank you so much. So a job is where you perform or work to earn money to support your basic needs. And a career is a long time professional journey you may determine based on your passions. It is the path you embark upon to fulfill your professional goals and ambitions in life. So, talking about career planning has basically four aspects, which are self assessment, career exploration, then you get focused, and finally, an action plan. So, we must explore our area of interest, our passions, strengths, traits, in order to know which job profile will best suit us. Hence, self assessment is an important part of career planning. Based on self assessment, we discover various educational training, various opportunities, and also follow industrial trends that suit best our personality and interest. For any plan to work out, it is the utmost important and it is utmost important that we remain focused and take appropriate actions towards our goals. To begin with, never underestimate the importance of internships. You must gain as much as experience as you can with apps like LinkedIn available on. It's very easy to connect with employers. Also, it makes our life easy where we can track every possible thing in an industry your interest lies in. Next slide, please. As we discussed, that self-assessment is a very important component of career planning. Career mentoring tests, psychometric tests consist of personality test and interest test, which provides you an insight into your personality traits and interest areas, which will help you choosing your career options. Next slide.
Yes, I will just put the link for the career mentoring test in the chat box.
Yes.
Yeah, just tell them a little bit about the test.
So you can take the psychometric test. Noel has put the link in the chat box.
Yeah, so the test it can be taken in Marathi, Hindi, or English as per your preference. And in a week's time, you will get a report on the same after answering the questions.
Noel, you can go to the next slide. We have a video in this.
Yes, give me 1 second. I'll just share the video.
Yes.
NSDC
Just let me know if it is audible.
eSkill India has joined hands with American India Foundation for
Yes,
enhancing
it's audible.
skills and providing career guidance to college students through its course Essential Employability Skills for Indian Youth. You can follow 4 simple steps to enroll in this course. Step 1. Log in or register yourself on eSkill India portal. To enroll in the course, click on the above banner on eSkill India portal. The banner will appear on the eSkill India main page. In case banner is in motion or not visible, you can click on the corporate training button available to reach the NSDC AIF training program. If you have registered yourself before, you can log in and continue. But if you are a new user, click on sign up, fill all the details. You will need to verify your phone number or email ID. Once verified, click on I agree to terms and conditions. You have now completed the registration process. Now you can log in and enroll in the course. Step 2. Enter coupon code. After you have logged in, enter the coupon code and click submit. Step 3. Select course and language. The course is available in 2 languages. To do the course in English, click here. Kindly remember, you will not be able to change the language of the course after enrollment. Select the language of the course carefully. Click on Enroll. Click on OK. Step 4. Go through all the modules and clear the final exam to earn any certificate. After completing all the lessons in each module, you will have to give final assessment. Completing the final assessment is mandatory to complete the course and earn certificate. To give final exams, click on Final Exam. Each candidate will be given 3 attempts to clear the exam or improve the final score. The best score out of the 3 would be displayed on e-certificate. Now click on Quizzes. Click on Take Quiz and complete the quiz.
Noel, you can go to the next employability slide.
Yes.
So now what is employability? So it can be defined as a set of achievements, skills, understandings, and personal attributes that make someone more likely to gain employment and be successful in their chosen occupations, which benefits them, the workforce, and the community and economy. And employability skills are the core skills and traits needed in nearly every job. These are general skills that make someone desirable to an organization. Hiring managers almost always look for employees with these skills. Next slide, please. Yeah. So adaptability and flexibility. An ability to be flexible and adapt to change is vital, because whether you like it or not, change will be a big part of the new era of work. Employers are increasingly looking for people who can move out of their comfort zone and see change as an opportunity for growth and innovation. Through the pandemic, you've likely faced to overcome new adversities and challenges that you didn't foresee before. So you should take time to acknowledge how your mindset may have shifted in recent weeks and months, and how these skills can be incorporated at your workplace. Next slide, please. So emotional intelligence and communication skills. Communication and emotional intelligence is a very significant skill you need to have. You should be aware of emotional intelligence skills, where you should demonstrate empathy and show deep respect towards your co-workers' emotions. Show that you care. An empathetic leadership style can make everyone feel like a team and increase productivity, morale, and loyalty. Having good communication skills is an essential tool in achieving productivity and maintaining strong working relationship at all levels of an organization. Next slide. Teamwork and collaboration. The basic mantra of today's business is we have to collaborate. In recent times, we see that a lot of organizations are collaborating to achieve what they aim at. Efficiency is an essential part of a team and an important aspect of the workplace. Talking about leadership, a leader is not only a good team player, but also plays a vital role in building and leading the entire team. Being a leader brings with a lot of responsibilities, from creating a positive work culture, leading by example, and delivering results. Next slide, please. Time management. So it is seen that we tend to procrastinate our work and decide to do it later. This will not be entertained at a workplace. Time is money, and effective time management skills can have positive impact on your work and life in general. When you learn to take control of your time on a daily basis, you improve your ability to get things done, make better decisions, and most importantly, gain ultimate control of your key priorities. Next slide, please. So stress management. Stress is common and unavoidable in the workplace. Present day jobs are highly insecure, full of challenges, high expectations and demands, which cause stress at a workplace. You are under high pressure and asked to achieve deadlines and commitments. It is important that you find techniques to deal with stress management. Without some job stress, you wouldn't be very productive. A small amount of stress is good in the workplace, but 100% stress-free workplace is unrealistic. So to deal with this, you should eliminate negative stress and envision towards good stress, which pushes you to achieve your goals. Next, please. Next slide. Digital literacy, digital communication. So needless to say that today everything has become digital. The popularity of the digital workplace is growing due to health concerns with pandemic. You need to be up to date with the skills of digital communication. Next, data literacy. In a world increasingly powered by data, data literacy is as important as literacy itself, and an organization's ability to succeed will be heavily dependent on its employees' abilities to learn this new language. Professional performance is linked with a good grasp of data, helping us make better decisions and adding weight to our arguments. Next. So we need to plan a lot of things. Say, for example, we want to go for a movie with our friends. So you start planning so much in advance, which movie to see, which theater, what are the show timings, etc., etc. So how much thought have you put in your planning for your career? Start thinking about your career, start thinking about what are your skills, and think of polishing those skills. How do you use your qualification? How do you say that I'm the one you're looking for and I'm the person you should be hiring? So if you take the psychometric test, you get a better picture about your interests, your personality, or the field you are planning to work in that is good or not for you. So it is necessary to present your best skills as there is a lot of competition going on. Next. So now talking about a bit about University of Mumbai's Garware Institute of Career Education and Development. Our college is located in the university campus. If you come to Kalina, definitely do visit us. And we are into skill-based education which will give you the inputs to work better in an organization and industry. We have undergraduate diploma programs. Then we have undergraduate bachelor's degree programs in various fields like retail, pharmaceuticals, paint. We have jewelry and designing, customs and logistics, and an undergraduate diploma courses. So depending on your interest and depending upon the field you want to learn, we offer programs in post-graduation, part-time and full-time courses as well. There are some of the areas. Look at where your interest lies and how you can monetize it, because that's how you'll have fun. With that, I would like to end my presentation and we'll close today's session. I would like to thank each and every participant who has come today. A special thanks on behalf of University of Mumbai's Garware Institute, American India Foundation, and Dell Technologies to our guest speaker, Mrs. Anagha Prabhu. It was a pleasure to have her. And I would also once again like to thank Ms. Sharmila ma'am and Dr. Neetu Kapoor for giving us the opportunity to organize this workshop for you all. On behalf of University of Mumbai's Garware Institute of Career Education and Development, AIF, and Dell Technologies, I thank you all and wish you all the best for your future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. One more thing before you all leave, I would request you all to fill up the registration form, which I have sent in the link in the chat box. So once you fill that form, you will get an e-certificate of participation, as well as you would get the NHDC coupon. So the video that we had showed you'll get a coupon code on the link on the email that you have registered. I would also like to encourage you all to do the career mentoring test, which is available in Marathi, Hindi, and English. In case any of your friends have left the meeting earlier, please convey these two links to them and tell them to do the needful. Thank you.